Hello.
Hello, everyone.
All right, welcome to How to Blog and How to Blog in the Context of Marketing. I'm Thomas. I am I'm a fourth year student at Humber in digital business, and I took 1 year part time. I also have taken multiple Udemy courses about digital marketing. I've worked for digital marketing agencies, and I'm doing my own freelance work for digital marketing now. I've worked with Hanadi for the past, I think, 2 or 3 years with Humber Online Solutions. It's a great place to get real work, real life experience while you're still in school. So I recommend checking that out and talking to her after this webinar if you're interested in that. That's my spiel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Reyes. I'm a recent graduate from the same program as Thomas, the digital business uh, Bachelor of Commerce. I also worked with Hanadi on the Humber Online Solutions. As Thomas mentioned, really great real life experience. It really built the path to where I am now. So again, I highly recommend it as well. And Hanadi is amazing to work with. I currently work in product management, but I found out like the corporate life wasn't really for me. Although I still work there because I have to pay bills. I did start my own business on the side, which is Wild Scrap. So I'm really excited to share that with you guys today. And I'll hand it back over to Thomas so he can dive into the presentation.
Okay, let's get started here. I'm going to share my screen with you all. Let's see if I can. All right. Okay. So blogging in the context to marketing and how to blog. I think the main takeaway for this lesson is really blogging in context to marketing because there is a purpose for what you're doing with blogging. And I know a lot of the time it can feel very vague, like why are people writing blogs? What's the point? And oftentimes it is to market yourself or a business, your own business, or maybe a company that you work with or work for. So let's jump into this next slide here. So we're going to start off with blogging in context to marketing. I'm going to explain that. Then we're going to go into why a business or yourself would want to blog, examples of some good and bad blogs, so you can kind of they can contrast each other and you can compare. And then some facts, how to do market research, how to write an actual blog, and then we'll get into communication with the client. Okay. So context. in in marketing, there's many different channels on which you can market yourself. So for example, you could do content marketing, influencer marketing, social media marketing, search engine marketing. So there's all these different types of marketing you can do. And so where does blogging fall into that array of marketing tactics? Well, it's content marketing. And there's a purpose behind content marketing, and that is to raise brand awareness and create interest in and sometimes desire for a product or service. So if you look at the conversion funnel on the screen, this is a staple in marketing, and it's basically how someone would go through purchasing a product or service. Someone has to be aware of the product or service for them to actually buy it. They need to have an interest, they need to have a desire, and then they take the action. And there is some conversion funnels that are a bit longer, but this is a really simple one and gets the point across really easy. So if you're creating a blog, um, how that fits into marketing, remember, it's to create brand awareness and to create interest. So we'll get more into this, but if you think about like an iPhone 11 Pro review online, or maybe it's a video and then there's also like a blog they wrote about it. Well, that's going to create awareness for that iPhone 11 Pro, but also create interest because they're telling you the specs, the tools, the nice camera. And so that's the purpose. So always remember that's the purpose. It's not going to be a sales kind of pitch to anyone. It's really creating that awareness and interest. And if you have any questions throughout, feel free to type them in the chat anytime you want, and we'll answer those for you. And Amanda, if I miss anything, just let me know, and we can answer those.
Yeah, for sure.
So why would a business or yourself want to blog? Well, a company will write a blog to introduce themselves to new customers or to their brand and create hype. Remember, hype is interest. So if we go back to conversion funnel, you see there's awareness and interest. So we're creating that interest. We're also creating that awareness of our product, of our service. So that's the purpose. So remember that while you're writing the blog, if you're going into a sales pitch or if you that's that's not the purpose of what you're doing. All right, we're going to go into some examples. So me and Amanda had talked previously and we pulled these examples which we thought were really good because they're in her industry and they also can contrast each other nicely. So I'll go over the bad version first. So this is was for dogs, right?
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
correct. They
okay?
sell like dog boots for the winter.
Okay. Okay, so they're selling dog apparel. And as you can see from the title, Goblin Good Halloween Treats, I don't know from reading that what this is about. This could be about anything. This could be a treat for your kid, a treat for to put outside for Halloween. Like really, I don't know what this is about. So and then if we continue to read through it, then you get okay, scare up some Halloween treats for your dog. Then we're starting to get it. This is really poor title because you don't understand what's going on in the blog. And the blog headline is one of the most important pieces of the text. There's a common saying that we're in like headline news times. And it's true because many people aren't reading the actual articles, they're just reading lots of headlines. So this wouldn't get many people to read this. If we go through it, still there's no images. It's very short. So this is less than maybe 600 words. And it's not structured very well. I mean, I think we can all notice just from looking at it, it really looks poorly written and poorly built. Okay, so let's go to a good one and you can actually see the difference. Okay, 10 must-haves for hiking with your dog. So right off the start, we already know what we're reading about. It's catchy and it's quick. It's 10 must-haves. So it's something that people can wrap their brain around and think, okay, let me read these 10 things that are gonna benefit my hike with my dog. They have a nice image to start off with, which is always nice. And as you can see, they have clear headings, also with many links throughout it, which links are very good for building up authority within Google. Google is always indexing websites, basically searching websites to check how they are how they are doing and how high quality they are. So one of that portion or one of the aspects of that is to look for links to other credible websites that are going to provide the reader with even more information about that topic. So as you can see, they're talking about what the must-haves are, and then they're linking you that product or service. Now, the only thing I would recommend for this blog is to add probably two more pictures just to spread out the text. They could also add maybe some different styling of text just to make it a little more engaging. And if we get to the bottom, they have their social shares on, which is great. They put in some category or these would be tags they put in. They could add a few more tags, but we'll get more into this so you can understand what tags are and what categories are. So not to overwhelm you. But you can see the difference pretty clearly from this blog to this blog. So these are some important facts to keep in mind while you are blogging. So 77% of internet users read blogs regularly, which is a good thing. It's a positive. It shows that these are worth actually creating. And more importantly, 80% of people read only the headline of your articles. So this is not to say to write a poor blog and just put a great headline. That's not going to work because, like I said, Google is searching your website and your blog to make sure it's high quality. Just keep in mind though that you really need to have a nice headline and then provide the information for the people. So when they click it, they get the relevant information, they want to click it, and they can move on. One of the key components of blogging is providing value to the people reading it. It's all about providing value. For example, if you were looking up how to cook rice, maybe Uncle Ben's Rice Company would have an article on how to do that. The way they would not provide value is by saying, um, go buy our instant rice and that will help you cook rice. Because no, that's not providing value. But if they wrote an article about here's how to cook rice, and maybe they use their rice in the blog, and maybe they attached a video to it, but it taught you exactly how to cook the rice, then that's going to provide value because that person is searching for how do I cook the rice? They're not searching for how can I buy Uncle Ben's rice, right? So it's all about providing that value. And same goes with the dog apparel industry that you'll be writing about for Amanda. Um, you don't want to be salesy in your articles because it's not providing that value. And remember, the purpose is for you to build brand awareness and build interest and maybe create a little bit of desire. So a salesy blog will always do poorly, always. So remember that. And if you're working, when you're working with a client and working with Amanda, you can keep that in mind to how you're going to communicate with her and with other clients. So they're not expecting kind of this wonder miracle that you write a blog and then you have 100 sales, let's say, right? So keep that in mind. So articles with images get 94% more views. So if we take it back to the first blog post that was quite poorly written, there was no images. And then the one that was a little better had the one image at the top, but if they added two more images just to separate the text nicely, they could have even more views and more readers. So I'm not going to go through all this. We're going to actually share this document with all of you so you can go through and read it. There's also a blog that I've written, so this is all in written form as well. You can take a look at it. I hit the most important ones. Another one, 36% of people prefer list-based headlines. So that was 10 must-haves, 10 best tips, those type of articles. If the blog post is more than 1,500 words on average, it receives 68% more tweets and 22% more Facebook likes. So I do recommend probably over 1,000 words per blog post. I usually actually end up hitting 1,500, but the more value you can provide, the more information you can provide, the better the blog post will do. If you're writing a very short blog and the blog's taking you 30 minutes to write, you're doing it wrong and you need to basically take a step back and really reevaluate what you're doing. But after this, you should know everything you need to do to write a really killer blog.
Hey Thomas, we just got a question from Adam in the chat.
Hmm.
He's asking, so making sure your article is loaded with SEO friendly terms is important, correct? Do you want to take that question?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So that is extremely important, and we're going to actually jump into that right now, and that's market research. I'm going to answer your question with this part of the presentation. So if you're searching stuff online, then and we're searching for dog apparel. There's certain terms and they're called keywords that people would use to find that kind of topic, which are these SEO friendly words that are one of our attendees had asked. So the first thing you can do when you're looking on how to think of these SEO friendly words, well, I wouldn't even say think about it. You don't want to just create them off the top of your head. You want to be able to research Google. And there's a bunch of tools that I'm going to show you how to do this. So one thing is you can simply put in dog apparel into Google and you'll see these are terms under it that people are searching for. So dog apparel Canada, Toronto, brands. You can get inspired to write your articles like this. Dog apparel brands. You could write the 5 most important dog apparel brands of 2020, because people are actively searching that, and that's what we're being told when we're seeing these suggestions. Because again, that's saying a lot of people are searching this up, so we think that we should recommend this to you to search up as well. And you are going to want to, getting back to that question, you are going to want to put in the blog the keywords. So this is one way you can get ideas of how to write your blog and what the blog could be about. Then you're going to want to do even more research to figure out more keywords surrounding that topic that you can put throughout the blog. There's a term called keyword stuffing, which is a negative thing. You don't want to put too much keywords. Remember, we're trying to provide value to the readers. So you're not going to want to find the 100 best keywords that you have and then just jam them all into one paragraph, because people, that's unreadable and it's not providing that value. So Google doesn't just look at keywords to rank your blog. They're also going to look at how many, like, are people clicking on your blog, reading it for a little bit, maybe going to another link, because then that's valuable. If people are just clicking on the link, looking for 15 seconds and backing out, it's not going to do good for your blog. And that's often what happens when you keyword stuff.
Thomas, are you sharing a different screen than the PowerPoint right now?
Oh yes, is it not showing up?
Yeah, no, we're still on the PowerPoint right now. I think you need to share a new screen on the control panel. I also have another question. Does a blog be like creating a website? How many pictures can be in the article?
Can you see it now, sir?
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Okay, so the question was, how many pictures should be in the article?
Yeah.
At least you need to have a featured headline image for your blog, so one at the very top. And usually websites will have like some placeholder to put it in that looks really nice. And then after that point, depending how long the blog is, I would put maybe 2 to 4. You should really, you don't want to have just so many images with very little text. So keep that in mind. If it's a short blog, maybe it's just 1 image. If it's a longer blog, then it's maybe 4 images. And it's all about providing that value. So if you think that image can add something to what you're saying, then definitely do it. And sorry for you guys missing out on what I was talking about here. It's kind of unfortunate, but so this is what I was showing. If you look up dog apparel, you'll see all of these suggestions, and this can help you get ideas for writing a great blog. So that's one way. Use Google suggestions, right? If you put dog, you say dog breeds, dog tails, dogs for adoption, and then I'll show you how to even get it more in depth with that. One thing I use is called Keywords Everywhere. Really recommend this. It's actually a paid app now, Google extension, but it does still give you ideas of what kind of topics you could write about. Okay, so we got a question here. How can you tell how much traffic is coming on your blog? How can you tell if many people are viewing your blog or not, and if it's doing well? So with any website builder that you have or a potential client has, they're going to have analytics and statistics into it. So you'll be able to see all of that data. It's all given to you. That's standard practice. So if you log into the website and go into the back end, it's going to show you all that. So I hope that answers your question. If it's doing well, you'll see more and more traffic over time start coming to that website. So blogging isn't kind of an instant, it's not like pay-per-click ads, where pay-per-click ads, someone clicks on it and then they're either going to buy or not. This is a long-term growth. So usually blogs actually do better the longer they're out. The first month, maybe you don't get many traffic to it, but then within, let's say, 3 months, then it really starts to pick up. So this is the Keywords Everywhere tool. I hope you can see my screen this time.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, perfect. You can install for Chrome or Firefox. It takes a second. And you don't need to pay for it. It's still going to provide a lot of value. So as you can see, I'm going to put in dog apparel. And what this is going to do is going to put keywords on the right side of the screen where my mouse is right now. So these are the related keywords. We can all small dog apparel for humans, dog clothes Canada, dog clothes online. So again, this is going to give you more ideas of what you could write about, but also keywords that you can put into your blog. So if you are doing a blog on dog apparel, maybe you're throwing in dog clothes online, dog clothes Canada. And this is actually a good example because there's some things you're not going to want to include, like clearance dog clothes. These are people who are looking for a really cheap item, and you don't want to attract these type of people because they just want the cheapest thing for the best quality and the best thing for the cheapest price. So another thing, you want to communicate with Amanda and whoever other clients you're working for, because previous to this webinar, Amanda had told me that small dog apparel was something that she didn't really want to target. You're gonna have to talk to Amanda and determine, is that a keyword that I want to include? Because remember, if you're including that keyword in the blog, you're gonna get traffic to the blog about that keyword. So it's kind of like the demographic. That demographic would be small dog owners, when her demographic is maybe bigger dog owners that like to go on hikes and like to be active, right? So you could even do dog apparel for active dogs. And then we're going to get more keywords here. Dog coats, chili dog coats, dog sweaters Canada. And then you can get also people also search for dog agility clothing Canada, and it's just going to give you even more. So this is a really, really helpful tool to build up your keyword list and even get inspired on what you're going to write about. Do we have another question come in?
I also use Facebook analytics, which is also helpful. So, for example, if I have a blog, I'm going to promote that on Facebook, and I'll see the reach that that's had on Facebook. So there are many different ways, like Thomas mentioned, that you can track the the see if your blog's doing well or not.
Hmm. For sure. So this is like industry standard. You're going to be able to see all this data pretty much any platform you use. So really don't worry, it's going to be there for you to access. So for market research, we covered that you can simply type in a word like dogs, and you can see suggestions right there. Dogs apparel, dogs in motion. The next, we said download the Keywords Everywhere tool, install that extension, and you're going to be able to get even more ideas on everything you search. There's also one for YouTube called vidIQ. So I'm not going to go too much into detail on this one, but this is basically the same thing for YouTube. So you can get this extension as well, and it's going to give you keyword suggestions for YouTube videos, and then you can get creative and kind of think about how you can apply that. So that's vidIQ for YouTube keywords. And then the last thing that I use is Google Trends. This is a really great tool provided by Google for free. So it's going to show you what's trending in the world, and Taylor Swift and Kim Kardashian are always trending in the world for some reason. Very popular people. So we got the World Cup, we got football because it is the what is it? The championship today. I don't know what they call it in football. Yeah, so they're giving you a lot of data here. So let's put in dogs apparel. You're gonna want to switch this to Canada. Make sure. So you can change the country right in this left corner here. And then you can change the date range as well. I'll usually check out the past 12 months, the past 5 years, just to see if there's any growth in this word for searches. And as you can see with this word, it's been pretty steady. It's not growing, it's not moving, it's just a pretty steady keyword. So this is one that you could use, although for a blog post and for the headline and what you're going to write about, I would maybe think about something else. Try to really find something that's growing and it's really trending. If you scroll down, you're going to get these options with related topics. So coat garment, this is a breakout term. So this means recently this topic is exploding. We can look into this, and then pet topic and recently it is 50% higher than it usually does. So you can click on these and get more ideas. So this is going to be pet topic is very broad. So this is kind of a nice place to start out. You can see the broad topic and then niche it down and focus it down. So if we look at the past 5 years for this dog or for the pet industry and the searches, it's growing a little bit. It's healthy search term. And if we look for past 12 months, we can see it's steady. It's very steady. And if we go even 90 days, we can check. It's still steady. So this is how you can kind of look at the data. One thing you want to look at too is there might be a really good topic to talk about right in that moment. So what I mean by that is you might look at the past 5 years and it looks like this. But when you go to 90 days, I know it doesn't look like this, but imagine it would look like this. You see a big spike. Well, that's telling you that there's some news or there's some information that's really being talked about. So you can kind of jump on that wave, so to speak. And if we go down, we can see where people are actually talking about this and searching this. So it will give you the search interest ranking even. So let's say Amanda's target demographic lived in Quebec. So as you can see, it's 29 search interest rank, which is quite low. So maybe you'd want to look at it kind of a different topic. But you see in Ontario, it's very high, Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and so forth. Okay, so this is the nice stuff. So sometimes if the topic or the search term that you're searching in Google Trends is really narrow, you won't get related queries. So if you don't see that, that's probably a good sign that you've focused down your topic. But as you can see, you get more ideas, pet pictures with Santa, Elf on the Shelf pets, um, pet friendly salt, Dr. Marty pet food. So pet socks. Here we go. This is perfect. So this might not apply directly to Amanda, but you can see how we start to piece together a blog, right? So we look up pets, and now we actually started at dog apparel. We noticed pets was a growing 50% in recent times. So we did a further search onto pets. Then we saw that related queries to pets, which is very good. And now we see pet socks has blown up 750% in recent times. It's a rising search term. So if that's some product that Amanda sold, and maybe even it's not something she sells, but she could still write about it because those people probably are looking for similar things, right? They're probably still interested in other dog apparel. This would be a great blog to write about. So you could do the 5 most funky pet socks you have to have. So that you can you can see how we started with dog apparel, and now we've got to pet socks and the 5 most exciting pet socks you need to have, right? So there's an idea right there, and then you can go into the topic and you can put pet socks. You can search by search term, which is what we're going to want, or the topics are more broad. So we're going to go pet socks, and then we can get more data, and then we can get so it's actually pet socks is doing well in Canada. So this is a great topic already that we can see. And as you can see, related queries, there's none because it's a very niche topic already. And then we can see the interest and where it's coming from. So some provinces aren't even interested in this topic, but Ontario is, which is a really great sign because we have a lot of business in Ontario. And then, so that's how you would do it. And then also you can, once you find your topic like pet socks, you can go back into Google, put in pet socks, do another analysis of Google. And as you can see, Pet Socks Canada. So maybe these are keywords you want to put into your blog, getting back to that SEO friendly question. Pet Socks personalized, something you can throw in. So I would get a Google Doc and have all of these keywords written out and just keep them in mind and try to naturally put them in within your blog. Then we can search this up and we can see kind of what people are posting about this. It's a lot of product companies. But watch, if we look up best pet socks, so this sounds more like a blog type of topic, we can actually get ideas of blogs we'd want to write. So the 6 best dog socks for hardwood floors, right? That's a really great blog. It's very specific, and you can always get ideas here. Top 7 best non-slip dog socks and booties for hardwood. It seems like people are looking for kind of a solution to this hardwood dog issue. It seems like maybe dogs slip on the hardwood. So this would be a great blog to write. That's kind of the process you go through. And then again, we have the keywords everywhere tool. So you can find more keywords that you can add to your list to put in the blog. Again, if you have any questions about that, I know it's a lot of information to take in. Feel free to ask. And also, we're going to provide you with the link so you can read all this information and have it for when you're writing your blog. So if you're like, hey, I kind of forget that. Well, I can go to this and refresh myself on it. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, how to write a blog. So this is going to go into the structuring of it, categories, tags, headlines, subheadings. And I'm not going to tell you exactly how to write your own blog because that's what's going to make your blog unique, your own writing style. Really, really embrace your own writing style, but follow these guidelines so you're going to guarantee to write a good blog. And already, with your understanding of the context to marketing and understanding market research, you're already off to a great start. Those are probably the 2 most important things because you understand why you're writing it and you understand that you need to actually find topics that people are actually searching for. So you don't want to write a blog that's bow tie for dogs, right? I don't know if that's actually a good thing to write or not, but let's say that no one's searching that up and you did no research on it. Well, then you can get into an issue where no one's actually searching that up, so no one's going to read your blog, and it's kind of you wasted your resources in a sense, right? When you're writing your blog, you're going to initially create a draft on Google Docs, and you're going to want to have it so you have your headline, and then you have your subheadings, and then you have your body of text. You include your images on the Google Docs, so you're structuring it all on the Google Docs before it gets posted. And then at the bottom, you're going to have your categories. So categories are broad topics of what your blog's about. It's going to help Google recognize what you're talking about, but also in the future, it's going to help organize your website or the client's website. So if they have, say, 15 different blogs, people can search through them quickly. Then we get into tags, which can be very specific. Let's say a category is pets. Well, a tag could be scarves for dogs. So it can be a lot more specific. Again, a good thing to do for tags is actually go to your keywords that you know people are searching for and add those as your tags. You don't need to add like hundreds of tags. Maybe add like 10 and you're good to go. You have your headlines, you have your subheadings. Well, you'll have your one headline and you'll have the subheadings, you'll have the body of your text, then you have your categories and tags. And then at the very bottom, you're always going to want to source your information. A lot of the times when we're writing blogs, you might not know exactly about that topic. You might not be an expert. Eventually, after writing a whole bunch of blogs, you may become that. However, often we aren't. For example, I had a client through Hanadi and Humber Online Solutions who is in senior care services and lifestyle concierge. I have no idea what that's about. So I did my market research. I started to learn what it's about, but I used or got inspired by a lot of other blogs. So I would link all of those. Another great thing is you can use stock images. I use stock images for every blog. They're free. They're often high quality. You can use Pixels is my favorite one, pixels.com. You still need to source these images as well. Give respect to the people who took the time to create these photographs. So make sure the sources are in there. But don't be afraid to get inspired about other people's blogs. Like I said, if you don't know anything about the topic, you need to really go in and read other people's blogs to get an idea of what this industry is about. Yeah, include your keywords. Make sure your keywords are naturally put in the the blog post. So you don't want to keyword stuff. You don't want to have a paragraph that's just a whole bunch of keywords and it doesn't really make sense. Again, you're providing value for the person. So, whatever your topic is, imagine you're searching for that topic. You're searching dog socks, and then you see, oh, these are the top 5 to have if your dog is slipping on the hardwood floor, right? So, imagine you're that person, and how would you answer that question? How would you provide value to yourself if you were reading that and needed a solution to that? And think back to Uncle Ben's example that I gave earlier. If Uncle Ben, the rice company, was to write a blog how to cook rice, and they just said, "Here's our instant rice. Don't bother cooking it. Just buy our instant rice, and you're good to go." That's not providing value to that person who wants to learn how to cook that rice. But if Uncle Ben Rice Company wrote a really great blog on how to cook rice to perfection, let's say, it's going to provide a lot of great value for the person reading it as well. It's going to provide a lot of value to Uncle Ben's because they're being seen as an expert, an authority in the industry. They're getting kind of a positive brand awareness as well. Yeah, include images. I would say 1 to 4, depending on the size. And I also recommend having a blog post around 1,500 words. Again, if you're writing a blog that's taking 30 minutes, you're not doing it right. Remember, we have to do the market research, which is going to take maybe an hour. And then you have to write the blog, which could take 1 to 3 hours. On average, my blogs take 3 to 4 hours to write. So don't get discouraged. Just set aside some time, maybe an hour a day or 2 hours a day, and you can get it done. It's always actually good to do that because then you can read your blog over again and have a kind of a fresh perspective on it. And I recommend Grammarly for everyone. Get Grammarly because that'll help you out with grammar. And premium is actually worth it. I bought it. It's a little expensive, but it does help a lot with writing. So maybe check that out and see if you're interested in that. Okay, so we have a question. I'll read it again. When we provide links on the blog, what is the purpose for this, and how do we know which kind of links we are to add to our blog? So the purpose of providing other links to the blog is to provide more value. You don't have to do it if it doesn't fit in your blog, but it's often good to do that. So Google, like I said, is going to read your website. It's called indexing. They're looking to see if this is a valuable website and what people are doing on it. So imagine you're on a blog and let's say it's an Apple iPhone 11 Pro review and you're on this blog and then you're reading it and you know what? They have a link there that says you can watch us unbox it and show you the specs. Well, when you click on that link, it's going to tell Google that this is actually a good blog post because it's providing more information and you're actually going more in depth to the topic. So the way they see that is it is relevant to what you're already looking at and searching for and reading and what kind of links are we to add to our blog. So the kind of links you want to add to the blog, they're going to be websites that are credible. They're going to provide more value to what you're already talking about. And that's pretty much it. It's good sometimes to add the link directly onto the blog, just like that, because Google tends to like that because it's easier for people to understand, oh, that's a link because it's really clear that it's like www dot whatever. And then if you're talking in a body of a paragraph and you don't want to just jam a link in there because it's gonna ruin the flow of your talking and of your writing, you can just create a hyperlink. So you can highlight the word and you can insert a link on that word. If it was like iPhone 11 Pro YouTube review, then you could highlight that and then insert that video onto those words. So hopefully that answered your question. I actually would like to go to my blog to just show you an example. So this is my website. This is the article that I wrote for this webinar and also a class that Hanadi's class that I was teaching in. So you can get all this information here. We'll just go through this really quick to get the full picture of everything I've talked about. So again, there's an image at the top and you see how it's already nicely placed there for you. It's called a featured image. It's how to blog in context to marketing. So it's kind of someone working, and I like to do an introductory paragraph. This is where I like to throw in a little bit of the keywords that and the SEO friendly the words that we had talked about. And a lot of the time people don't read that introductory paragraph. What I can do with this as well is make this all italics, because a lot of people already know that there's some kind of introductory paragraph there and they just won't read it. So what people do is click on this and then they'll go like this and they'll kind of just be like, okay, and then they'll pick kind of parts they want to read about it. Again, the images are there right off the bat. It's splitting up the text nicely. More images. I could even add. I could even kind of structure this a little better because this is so much text right here. I could probably make this image a little bigger, and it's very clear the subheadings. So now we're getting into, why would a business write a blog, and examples of popular blogs. And this is the hyperlinks I was talking about. So instead of putting the links directly, because in this case, you wouldn't understand what the links are about if I just copy and pasted it in there. So I put the title of the article, and then you can click on any of these just like that. And these are some good blog posts as well that are unrelated to the dog industry, but you can get an idea of the headlines and how they pull people in. Like Donald Trump's 199 wildest lines of 2019. It's like it just pulls you in. And if you're going to use numbers into your blog headline, into the title, use odd numbers. They often work a lot better than even numbers. The seven most, and they go on to say your thing. And that's why they put 199, because it just tends to do better. And then as you can see, I've used italics. I've used different styles to just keep it interesting and to keep it organized. Again, italics here, and then we have a bold here. It looks really clean, looks really nice. And here's another example of the hyperlink I said, right? You wouldn't want to put the link right in this paragraph. It would look really bad and it would also just throw the readers off. So I've put what the actual thing is I'm linking to, and you can click that and go to it. Again, it's right here as well with this Google Trends highlighted in blue. Right, so, and this is a lengthy blog. This is really high quality information. Google's gonna really love this, and then people are gonna find a lot of value from it. And at the bottom, you can see the sources. So the photos were from Overlow. I've obviously given them credit here, and also put the links to all the other sources that I've used. And I'll show you one more, another one that I had written for a client with Humber Online Solutions. So this is the Concierge brand. Again, I don't know really anything about this industry, so I did my research. Their target audience is seniors who need assistance in their living. So you can think about who might their customers be. Well, oftentimes people who are older, they might not be buying it for themselves, but they might have a family member, like a son or a daughter, who's going to buy it for them. I made a blog called How to Care for Aging Parents, 3 Most Helpful Tips. Again, I didn't use an even number in the title, just providing value for these people who want to make that leap to getting care for their parents, because it's a hard, difficult time. So it gives them a little bit more advice, a little bit more information. I've added categories here, right? Aging parents, caregiving, mental health, senior services. And here's that featured image I was talking about. This is a much better example because this is how it looks on most websites. It's going to be this big image with the headline on it. And yeah, so here's the example of the introductory paragraph with the italics on it. Again, not many people are going to read that, but here's some keywords that I did add in it. In this article, we will answer your questions: how to take care of elderly parents, how to get elderly parents to accept help, how to care for aging parents, and how you can access support for your elderly parents. So these were actually search terms people are searching up about this. I did my market research and I added those keywords in there that still provide value, and it's not in a way that's spamming them. So they're basically they're getting these answers throughout this blog. So they get an idea of what it's going to be about. And again, not many people are going to read that because they're just going to go like this and then see, oh, 3 most helpful tips, 1, 2, 3. Some people are going to leave after that. And if you scroll down, you get more information and the nice images that go with it. And here's an example of where you'd want to use a link instead of a hyperlink. So I'm saying if you need more guidance or more information on mental health for aging parents, then you can go to this website. So this gets back to that question on what links we should provide. This is a very high value link. It's coming from the Ontario government. It's giving really, really valuable information about mental health for elder people. And so I've put that link right in there because, again, I don't want to give mental health advice because I'm not a mental health professional. So remember that you don't want to be careful of what you're writing. You don't want to suggest anything that's kind of out of your profession. So let the professionals do that, and you can link that there. And then we're gonna just wrap this up quickly. Um, so here we're gonna talk about communicating with the client. This last part before I'm gonna give it to Amanda so she can talk to you guys a little bit more. So here's blogging in context to marketing. This was the blog that was on my website. I have it all here structured out. And why it's on the Google Docs? Well, for one, you can get an idea of how it's going to look, how it's going to flow, but also the share is really great on Google Docs because you can copy this link and all the people with this link can comment. So just change it instead of to view, change that to comment, and the client can go in there and add their suggestions without editing the text directly. And one more thing that's very important to note is the client is generally coming to you because you're the expert in blogging. So not all suggestions they make you have to do. Remember, go back to this information that we're providing you today and decide, is this something that I should actually include in the blog? Because sometimes clients will want maybe personal things or things that just don't fit really with that blog and provide value. Like I've had a client ask for me to tell people in the blog that they sell services of whatever I was writing about. So I told that clients, that's probably not the best way to do it because remember, blogging is for brand awareness and interest, right? So keep that in mind. And when you're talking with the client, be very clear, be very professional, reply in a timely manner. You can email, text, or phone call. It all depends on what type of client you're working with. Every client likes different ways of communicating. And it's a very personable industry. So your personal selling in this kind of digital marketing industry and the blogging industry. So just really build a relationship with the client and figure out how they like to best communicate. Okay, so I'm going to pass it off to Amanda. Rest my voice for a bit. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me. If you have any more questions, feel free to ask as many as you'd like. Amanda?
Okay, thank you, Thomas. Do you want me to share my screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Great. Thanks, Thomas, for your presentation. It's very valuable, really great content. And all of it you can definitely apply when you're working with me. So as I mentioned, I am a recent grad. I graduated in April of 2019. And I landed a job in product management, which has been a really great learning experience. I'm working in that corporate lifestyle. But it's definitely not where I want to be. I want to own my own business. Right now, I'm managing both. So I started Wild Scruff. Well, it's kind of a funny story actually. So my stepmom set me up a sewing machine, and I started just playing around with it. And I was like, oh, instead of spending like, $15 to $20 on a dog bandana or a dog scarf, I was like, I'll just make my own. And I made a couple for some friends, and they liked it. And I started to get better. I tweaked a few things, and I thought, well, I have experience in e-commerce, and I set up shop. And then in December of 2019, we incorporated the business. And so we've added, since December, we've added some human apparel. So we really want to have products for both our dogs and for us as well when we're going on all these adventures. So just a brief introduction about the company. On the right here, you can see my dog. His name is Espresso. He is my inspiration for starting this company. So basically what we are a lifestyle community and household brand for adventure dogs and owners alike. So we really want to reflect through our products this relationship and bond between us and our dogs. And then we use our products as sort of that medium to create and endorse conversations around these adventures. We want to explore the outdoors, connect, and share stories and live that active lifestyle with our dogs. And of course, making memories along the way. So earlier in slide 3, in the beginning of Thomas's presentation, we went over a good and a bad blog. So the good one was from Kurgo. So if you go into any pet value, you will see Kurgo. I'll bring them up here. They really aim at adventure dogs and hiking and camping and riding with your dog, how to handle muddy dogs, and then just traveling overall with your dog. So I would say out of the 3 that I have here, I would say that Kurgo is the top one that I would like to model after. So as you can see here, Thomas mentioned different categories in blogging, and you can see that here. So one category is hiking and camping. One is muddy dogs and running with your dog. So if we go into hiking and camping, it brings you to the one that Thomas showed, so 10 must-haves for hiking with your dog, and then it shows you a bunch of other ones. And I want to reiterate that what Thomas said about providing value. So for me specifically and my brand, I really want to provide value versus a sale. In the beginning, I want to establish more trust with customers versus just right away trying to make a sale. I want people to trust the brand and trust the stories and trust the community that we're trying to build before they dive into making a sale. So we go back here, rover.com. I can bring them up as well. I'm not sure if any of you have heard of it. Rover is an app that you download, and if you're a dog walker or a dog sitter, you kind of post your profile on there, and then people will hire you through that app to walk their dog. However, they do have a really good blog in terms of how to bond with your dog and the 5 basics for new puppy parents. And back to what Thomas mentioned, like these are things people will search. These are things people want to know. And again, if you're not an expert, you can definitely source in your blog to the experts. But these things are, again, it's back to building the community and building the relationship with our dogs. So this is where Rover comes in their blogging. And then the other one is Roughwear. So Roughwear is not in retail. They're at least not in Canada. I have not seen them. They are an adventure dog brand that are only selling online. So one thing I want to show here is kind of the categories the buckets that they put their blogs in. So it's like adventure here. So 5 tips for powdered hounds, um, avalanche rescue dogs. You have a gift guide, design inspiration, dog gear. So these kind of things that I want to aim towards in blogging for Wildcraft. Again, these are my suggested ones. Road trips by the lake, in the mountains, dog gear, rescue dogs, behind the scenes. So eventually, as this business grows and as we bring in more sales, we want to have that ability to donate a percentage of our profits to local animal rescues. So we're really big on that, myself personally, and I just think it's an overall good thing for a business to do. So always give back. And then I actually have some products here. So I have dog bandanas that I'll show you guys. So this is, try to get a full screen here. So this is one here that I just made for an influencer I'm sending out. And then on the back, so we clip it in so it stays in. And then it also has a button clip. So back to like the durability products for adventure dogs. If you're going on a hike with your dog, you don't want your bandana to come off. So this fastener here clips in on the back and provides that durability. And then it also comes with a product card. So just kind of show it here. Hopefully you guys can see it clearly. So it's the size, all of our social channels, and then just kind of a quick little blurb on the back end about the business. So we include all of these in every product that we send out. So for the human apparel, I'll show you guys quick. So this is my website if you guys haven't already checked it out. Again, dog bandanas. This is my dog here. So handmade dog bandanas in the human collection. So right now I only have hoodies, crew necks, and I have a hat as well here, and a jacket. So just like quick little sayings that really like builds that community, only if dogs are allowed, life is better with dogs. So far people have been really enjoying this, and so we're going to keep moving forward with those, but we want to have more emphasis obviously on dog products. So these are the ones, again, we make these handmade here just in my apartment. So we have a bunch of different designs. We plan to add more later on, but we'll see with all the time. Okay, so back to here. So I went through all of this. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask in the chat here, and I'll be more than happy to answer. So yeah, that's everything I wanted to go over with you guys, just to provide that quick introduction. Obviously, show off my dog at the same time, and I'm really excited to work with you all. Again, what Thomas went over is so valuable, and it's really good that you guys are taking the extra step to attend this and learn from him as well. So that's really great. And then, so if you want to connect with Thomas and I, here's our LinkedIn's. Again, this presentation is going to be shared with you, so you can click through there and connect with us. But yeah, that wraps it up for me. Thomas, is there anything you'd like to add?
I just had actually a question maybe that some of the students may have is, do you want blogs written about your human apparel, or is it mainly a focus on the dog apparel?
That's a great question. I would say right now it would be focused on the dog products. Right now on all of our social channels, we are showing the dog products. We're not really pushing the human apparel right now. Those are going to be more of an add-on when someone's on the website. So there's going to be no like ads pushed towards those products. So yeah, great question. The blogs, I would like to focus more towards dogs, and like you said, the 10 best hiking tips for dogs, like things like that.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so are there any more questions? You can drop them here in the chat. I guess Thomas, if you've got nothing else to add, we will stay on for another minute or so if anyone has questions. But
Yeah.
that wraps us up.
Thank you for the intro. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. And remember that you are going to be able to see all of this information in written form, just in case you forget anything that was said. I know there's a lot that we covered here.
Yeah, and connect with us on LinkedIn. Send us a message. We're more than happy to answer any questions, even if it's not related to this. If it's just about Humber and graduating and
Yeah,
anything,
for sure.
yeah, we're super happy to help.
For sure. And it's always great to build your network up. And maybe if you have an internship coming up, we could give you some tips and tricks on that.
Yeah, definitely. We've both been there, been through all that.
Mhm. Yes. Thanks for the opportunity. You're welcome. All right. So I don't think there's any more questions coming in. Have a great rest of your day, everyone.
Yep. Happy Sunday. Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.